Good evening and welcome to the Glens Common Council meeting for Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. Our first part of our meeting will be a public hearing on the water and sewer fund for 2021. And we have a resolution here to pass the water and sewer budget this year. With the water fund budget of $3,342,565 and the sewer fund of $6,853,998. So there's just been a lot of projects going on in the city, with our infrastructure and so on. I don't have the exact percentage, but it's a minimal amount of increase on that. And we have some major projects that were, we had also been in on. This was the water tanks. As I mentioned before, one of the main goals for the common council and for the city is to have clean and safe water. And that was one of the things that we know we needed to do was with water tanks. And again, there's some stuff that people don't see because it's behind the scenes, and that's at the sewer treatment plant. It's over 30 years old now. We're always upgrading the equipment down there. And Jim will tell you, he's been to a lot of the water and sewer meetings lately. A lot of the conversation is about upgrading the equipment and making it, so that it is not going to break down and so on. And, we've been working on a lot of different things down there. And unfortunately, to have safe and clean water and to be able to take care of our sewer situations that we have to have minimum increases. So with that, we're open for any conversations you might have.
Well, just to piggyback on what you were saying, they don't replace things down in water and sewer. If it's something is in need of repair, and it costs more to repair it than to buy a new one that's going to last a lot longer than a temporary repair. So you'll see some high-priced items, and that's why they're in their budget, because they've got to get done. These are crucial elements of the water and sewer. Like you say, you want clean water, you want good water. That's what needs to be done. You've got to spend the money to have the water, and it's pretty nice when we can turn, like you say, we turn our taps on. You've got clean, good water. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, so a number of years ago, we went with a company called DKC to be the overseer of our water treatment plant. And it was a good move. It was a gentleman named Don Colts who has been up there and he has the license to be able to run that plant. And we do have some operators that are testing, and hopefully one day they will have their license to be an A1 also. So it's been good. He's very good at what he does, and we feel pretty comfortable in knowing that he's the one that's overseeing that, and we have safe water. And we've had several conversations with him lately about making sure our water's safe, and I think he's very good at that. And down at the the sewer treatment plant, as we said, there's been a lot of Larry Glasheen has left. We now appointed Chris Miller the other day as the operator of the plant. He's pretty knowledgeable. He's been training for a couple of years. He had worked for Saratoga County before, so we feel really good about having him take over. We had a situation here last week with the power going out and trying to get things up and running, and he was running around and he succeeded. So we're lucky to have good people in employment at those positions, because they're very, very important.
Yeah, Don Colts, he has a monthly report for the workshop meeting that they have down the water and sewer.
Yeah.
And it's a very detailed report, very detailed. Goes through every aspect of the plant. And if you want to know anything, he's the guy. He really has the knowledge. So we're fortunate that we still have somebody like that.
Yeah. And again, we're continuing on with our infrastructure upgrades. As we talked about before, with Dix Avenue is going to have some separation out there And it's also getting some new water valves that are going to be involved with the project. Excuse me, they're on hold right now. They'll start the project back up in the spring. But it's something that needs to be done once I feel that once Dix Avenue's done, we've done all the major thoroughfares into our city. And it's time to start over and probably do one street down the road. So, but yeah, so there's, since my time on the council, we've done a lot of the streets. And just before I came out, they had done Warren Street. So it's things that have to be done.
It's not glamorous, but
it's not glamorous.
something neat.
Things that have to be done.
Yeah. Well, you got 100-year-old pipes that are cast iron, and they don't last 200 years.
So
we're lucky that they last as long as they do.
So the project across the street with the Glens Housing, they had to go across Bridge Street. And when they did that, and when they dug, they found about, I would say 2 feet down, maybe it was 3 feet down, they found old railway ties, metal for the railroad cars that used to go with the trolley cars. And that was what was under the street, and they didn't know that until they dug it up. And, it broke a couple of saw blades, and then they realized what was going on. So, but, yeah.
They just buried them.
Buried alive.
They didn't pull them, they buried them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go right over it.
Dig a hole and throw it in,
That's
whatever's
it.
there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I know. Interesting stuff they find down there.
Yeah. So at 7:30, I'll close the public hearing on the water and sewer budget, and I will go open the meeting with the pledge of allegiance, and Mr. Lee will lead us with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first business that I want to talk about real quick is that after 23 years, Maureen Dove, who has been taking meeting minutes here and also for all the different boards for 23 years, and she will be retiring. This will be her last meeting that she'll be at, and I just want to thank her for her service and the great job that she's done on keeping us informed by doing the minutes and so on. So, a little round of applause for Maureen. Did you want to say anything? Okay.
I'll take the notes.
I wasn't sure.
I'm sorry we have to postpone your retirement for just one more year.
I'm all for that.
So, we also have, if anyone wants to call in, we have our main guy on the phone over there, that's Bob Curtis, at number 518-792-1364. And we'll start out, if we don't have any comments, with committee reports. Mr. Enderberg.
I have no report.
Mr. Collins.
The Sustainability Committee is met, and looks like we've got the green light on 2 things. So the street lights should be begin in January, weather dependent. We're going to try to find a location to put a trailer to the lights will go in as they put them up throughout the street. And so it looks like January that will begin, and at least that's our goal. There's all green lights at this point that go in that way. And then the plan is to have 180 parking sensors available in the city. Also in January, we're working on meeting with the police chief and DPW superintendent to decide exactly where those 180 sensors will go for a pilot project. And so it's all covered into our budget. So for 5 years, we'll be able to, at least for 5 years, the budget will cover 5 years of the service to pay for those. So we can start to understand our parking data, where people are parking, how long they're parking for. We'll have some also in place no parking spots, so our parking enforcement agent will be able to see people and how long they've been in the spot for as well, without even leaving his office or his or her office. So that's all great news coming, and looks like January is this stuff. It'll be a great New Year's gift for us all here in the city.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Mr. Clark, committee reports?
Yes, the Police Reform Committee met last night. It'll be our last meeting as a group in person. We are switching over to virtual meetings via Skype. Our next meeting will be on the 17th. At that point in time, hopefully we'll have a proposal for everyone to look at and get their comments on. We had a presentation last night on restorative justice as a potential possibility of looking as a part of the reform package with some youth and things like that. So, but we're moving along. We also are doing a survey. Diana was gracious enough to put a survey together for us. It's on the topic areas we're looking to address, the 5 topic areas, getting input from the public beforehand, see if we're in the right direction, if there's anything else we need to look at as a group. But we're moving forward. Hopefully we'll, the target is to give you guys something in January, so, and the public. So, but that's the target we're working towards, and hopefully we'll get some good feedback. But with COVID and everything, we're just looking at trying to figure out ways to reach out to the community and make sure that we get their input on top of what we're already doing right now. So we're moving forward. And,
Great.
We have there's some good ideas, and I think we'll, as public servants, we always want to look to better ourselves. I think this is an opportunity to do that, not only for the police department, but for the city as a whole. And this is an opportunity for us, the city, to tell a good story as well. What we've done so far, what we're doing. We're ahead of the curve in a lot of areas than other communities, which is a positive. And again, it's a good story to tell. This is an opportunity to tell that story as well as telling people what we're looking to better ourselves for. So that's it.
All right, so I ran into one of the members of your committee who's also on a couple of other committees throughout the area, and he said that Glens Falls, with your leadership and Diana being involved, is further ahead than these other communities, and I want to thank you for taking the lead of both of you guys on that and helping us through this. So this is good, and again, thank you very much. Ms. Reed?
I have no report.
I have no report.
Ms. Farmer?
So for building and codes, I wanted to let the council know the public hearing, we have it on our agenda to close it tonight and vote on the vacant property registration. We made a couple of changes, pretty minor. We were able to clarify most of the concerns at the last meeting. One of the changes is in terms of determining value. We added the option to have an appraisal within the last year to determine value. And then we also, in our waiver process, we had already said that you could apply for a waiver if you were trying to sell the property at the price with the appraised value or assessed value. But now we are also adding that if you're trying to actively lease the property at a fair market price, then you can apply for a waiver. I think that might address the other concern of the caller who was talking about commercial properties and it being harder to lease commercial properties. So now, that doesn't exclude you from registering, because it's still important for us to know where these properties are so we can monitor them, but it does exclude them from having to pay fees. So I think we were able to address all of the concerns that came to us, and we thank everybody who took the time to comment. I have one more request to read a letter into the record, so I'm going to do that briefly. It says, "Dear Common Council members, I am writing to voice my strong support for the proposed vacant building ordinance. Vacant and abandoned structures have a negative impact on the surrounding neighborhood, lowering property values, increasing crime rates, and putting first responders at great risk. The city is wise to take a proactive approach to developing a registry of vacant buildings before they become a threat to public safety and neighborhood quality. While there will certainly be some complaints from property owners who do not like the idea of having to take responsibility for their buildings, the complaints will be far louder when one of our firefighters or first responders is harmed while dealing with an unsafe structure, or if they are distracted from a fire at an occupied residence. Thank you for taking the first step in addressing the issue of vacant and abandoned properties. And that's from Ethan Gaddy, 38 Cunningham. The Building and Codes Committee will be meeting again on Monday, the 14th, to finalize the fees that we'll be hopefully setting a public hearing for the next meeting, and to talk about some of our future projects.
Great, thank you. So with that, we will now go to the voice vote. Number one is a resolution approving the minutes of the November 24th, 2020 meeting of Glens County Council. And two is a resolution approving the November 2020 monthly report of City Clerk Parking Violations Bureau. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, under the roll call vote, is there any other resolutions you'd like to call for discussion? Number three is a resolution recognizing the closing by Mayor Hall of the public hearing regarding local law number 6-2020 and adopting said local law to create a new chapter of the City Code of the City of Glens, Chapter 206, vacant buildings, to identify and register all vacant buildings, impose owner responsibility, and establish fees for registration and inspection of vacant buildings. 4, resolution authorizing controller to increase general fund expense line A11670-4327, postage and mailing by 4,000, and decrease general fund expense line A11990-990-9,000, contingency by 4,000. 5 is a resolution authorizing the controller to decrease general fund expense line A119990-9,000, contingency by $2,055, and increase general fund expense line A11420-4483, law legal services by $1,093, and decrease general fund expense line A11420-4484, law prosecuting legal expenses by $962. 6 is a resolution authorizing payment of the third installment of the health insurance stipend to those on the attached list, and further authorizing controller to move monies among budget lines as detailed on the attached. 7 is a resolution authorizing community development annual payments. 8 is a resolution approving a coaching permit for the Mills Glens Falls LLC as approved by Mayor Hall on November 24th, 2020 for City Code 189-19B, subject to the Common Council review replacement of a dumpster at the rear of the mill near Clinton Avenue for removal of construction debris from November 30th, 2020 till March 1st, 2021. 8 and 9 is a resolution approving a coaching permit for Dylan Mayo of 11 Morgan Avenue, owner of 62 Crane Street, tax map number 302-.19-25-2, December 1st, 2020. Favorable planning board advisory opinion for a curb cut to widen the apron of the driveway at 62 Crane Street, with the understanding that the apron must be concrete. 10 is a resolution directing the controller to collect water and sewer rents $705,502.63 on the attached schedule by adding them to the city's tax roll and collecting them at the same time in the same manner as the real property taxes. 11 is a resolution adopting the 2021 water fund budget of $3,342,565 and the 2021 sewer fund budget of $6,853,998, along with the associated rates and fees as detailed in the attached.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
I'd say add the resolution.
We're gonna do that, we have to, I guess we
Okay.
could do it now.
All right.
That's good now.
Go ahead.
Okay. Resolution number 12, I believe, and it would be the approval, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the warrant.
Okay, all right.
So
now-
moved as amended.
Right.
Okay,
Second.
all right, roll call vote.
Councilwoman Reed,
Yes.
Councilman Campanella,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilwoman Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Emery,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Great, everything was approved. Old business, Mr. Engineer.
I have none.
Mr. Collins?
I have none.
Mr. Clark?
I have none.
I have
Ms.
none.
Reed? Mr. Campbell?
I have none.
Ms. Powell?
I just want to again thank the Crandall Park Beautification Committee because since we've last met, the disc golf course came out and it's been very well utilized so far. I've heard nothing but good feedback, so they've done such good work in my ward, but also for the whole community. I just want to thank them.
You bet. Thank you. I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of good things going on up there. Pickleball's been very successful.
They're playing in the freezing cold up there.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Once the snow comes, I think we'll have to take the next step.
And it does seem like a coincidence, but I was clicking through the channels just the other day and I saw on ESPN2 a golf, frisbee golf.
Disc
I'm
golf.
like, what? Right? So I couldn't fathom it, but I watched a good 5 minutes of it, so it was all right.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
New business.
I have none.
Ms. Collins?
I have none.
Ms. Clark?
I just want to say it was a lovely video of you and your wife lighting the Christmas tree, and the response from Santa driving around the city was wonderful. I got a lot of comments from my constituents and some neighbors about how they would love to see that done every year. They just thought it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. So.
Yeah, so that obviously was what we had to do because we couldn't really have a lot of people around for the Christmas tree lighting. And that idea came from the collaborative and of course Amy Collins. And I think it was excellent, as people have said, it just was really good and something we might have to consider to do every year because we hit all of the neighborhoods. And if you notice, it went by every one of your houses. And that was because you've all been good this year. And, so I think it was great, so thank you for.
Yeah, it was, obviously it was a different time we're in right now, but everyone in the neighborhoods were wearing masks and they were sort of celebrating the holidays with the Christmas lights and stuff, and they just thought it was a wonderful, neighborhood
Yep.
opportunity and event.
Yeah, it was. It
And
was very
they just
good.
loved it, so thank you, Mayor, it was
You bet.
wonderful.
Ms. Reed?
I have nothing to top that.
I can't top that either.
Ms. Powell?
The only other thing is that I have met with Amy Collins to talk about some ideas that would be fun around the pond this winter. We can't do fire and ice, obviously, that we did last year, which was so great, but we're thinking about having an ice lantern contest. So somebody last year brought an ice lantern to the fire and ice event, and if you know what that is, it's like you would take a bucket or something, fill it with ice, put another bucket inside of it, and when you freeze it, it creates like a candle holder kind of thing.
Okay.
And somebody had made one and brought it, and it was so beautiful, so we thought about maybe having a contest and people can bring them, it'll light it up, it'll be pretty for skating, and just kind of beautiful to see when people go by, so more details to come, but we're thinking of ideas to kind of be festive this winter, even if we can't have gatherings.
Is that gonna be open for skating this year, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, skating outside is is safer,
Yeah.
much more safe than a lot of indoor activities. At least that's
So
special.
we'll just have to monitor the size of the crowds, and who knows what the guidance will be by that time, so. As you could all probably read, that the guidance changes, it's no longer statewide, and in districts, it's more even in counties now, so it keeps changing and adapting, so we'll have to play it by ear and see where we're at as that goes out.
Yeah, I think having outdoor activities is going to be so important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because there's nothing in the
Yeah.
So I just handed out, are you finished? I'm sorry.
I'm done, yes.
Okay. I just handed out something that we talked about this morning, and actually came up from Ms. Reed, and we're trying, would you like to talk to it, or would you want to just go through? I just printed these out, these are some of the thoughts from this morning.
I didn't realize you were taking that all down. Thank you. Somebody's calling.
Common council? Hello?
Oh, hey guys, this is Claudia Braver.
Ah,
Was-
Hi,
Claudia.
Claudia.
Hear you over the buzzing. know if you would take my comment right now.
Sure.
Yes, go ahead, Claudia.
We're having a hard time hearing you, Claudia.
I just wanted to thank Councilwoman Palmer for bringing forward the vacant property registry and for taking the time to consider the public's comments and making changes to that law to address their concerns. And also, I wanted to say thank you to everyone involved in the Santa Claus visit last Friday. It was really awesome as you guys were discussing. I thought I'd mention that as a member of the public and as a parent in the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Good night.
All right, so our 7 people who are trying to be Ed Bartholomew meet every Tuesday morning for several hours. Still, the task is impossible. However, we find ourselves with the governor's changing protocols for COVID, facing this winter again, with the possibility that our downtown restaurants will be very negatively affected in a very short run here. And unfortunately, due to the way that our emergency COVID fund that we received from state and federal funds was drafted, excluded any entities that had already received PPE in another form from receiving the city's COVID funds. That covered a lot of our downtown restaurants. They were excluded without that being an intent. So I merely brought up to the rest of the group that it would be great if the city could come up with some city
Program or something.
efforts
Yeah.
to assist our downtown restaurants through what might become a more difficult time again. So we did some brainstorming, which you are seeing in front of you, and the mayor is going to contact a couple of people from the restaurants to get their input on whether any of this would be helpful or what other ideas they might have as well. And we're thinking of trying to do some sort of virtual think tank on that, but we're afraid that come possibly as soon as next Monday, your indoor dining may be reduced to 25%. So we want to do something, get something moving as quickly as possible. And so these were just ideas, and we're not the only people with ideas. So we figured the more people we get involved in this do effort, the more we might be able to do. So there you go.
Yeah, thank you. So, and again, that's why I wanted to bring it to the council. Obviously, Scott's got some expertise in this area, so, and he's living through it. So we also have, through Amy Collins and also with the collaborative, we've got a kind of a bingo game going on with all the restaurants in the city. And if you go to one, you get a bingo card and you cross it off, and then after you fill them out, your name will go into, or your application will go into a drawing, and we'll have some gifts to hand out. So we're trying to get people to use them either in-house or takeout. So that's our big thing, and I think we're trying to get ahead of it a little bit on the takeout thing. I know we went through it big time in the spring, but we want to come up with any more ideas that we think we can come up with to try to help. Our restaurants are probably one of our biggest strengths that we have in the city. When we walk around in the summer and see all the outdoor dining, I think we're the envy of a lot of communities. So we want to make sure that they're all still viable and that we can keep them going. So I wanted to hand that out to you folks. That was kind of the ideas that came out of the brainstorming this morning. So if you have any more, please pass them on to us. And as Jane had mentioned, we have our Tuesday morning meetings with the group that we call our work group. And so if you think of anything, or if you have conversations with anyone, pass it on to us.
Mayor, I can, kind of on the ground floor of this, I'll talk to my partners and neighbors and see what they think about some of these suggestions. I mean, obviously a delivery service would be fantastic, but I don't know if that's even a viable situation, how that would work.
So we'll be talking to our city attorney about
Okay, but that was something we almost did ourselves last spring. And a lot of these other things, you know, spots to park and all that would all be great, no matter what, if that's what we're reduced to is 25%. So that would be more and more takeout for sure, but I will
that. You
get
guys
back
are
to
experts in takeout anyways, I mean, you're talking.
We're getting there,
times and
yeah.
things.
But I'll make sure I get back to you later in the week, I'll talk to my
Be
partners.
great.
We'll explore, if they have more ideas too, I'll write them down,
Okay, excellent.
and then I'll think.
So, does anyone else have any other more comments? Okay, we're not seeing any. I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mindy.